Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our annual Jewish Gen Purim party. So excited that you're here. We're going to get started soon. And in the meantime, please let us know in the chat where you are logging in from. We have people from around the world joining us today. So please let us know and we'll get started in a couple of minutes.
Avrami, I think the participants are still joining, so you might want to repeat that in a few minutes. It's up to 250, 260.
I can't see a thing of these.
I think I win because I'm
Yeah.
joining from the.
Are there snacks? That's such a good question. It is a Jewish event.
Yeah, there should be like Hamantaschen somewhere. So we got Highland Park, New Jersey, Denver, co-dependent. Bethesda, Maryland, Arcadia,
Jerusalem.
Wisconsin. Chaim from Jerusalem. Yeah, Joe from New York. Miami, Columbia, Maryland, Middlefield, Ohio. Here, actually, it should be a question is where. But
Let's go Scotland, Jerusalem, Albuquerque,
Massachusetts, San Francisco. Eric from Jerusalem, Ann Arbor. All right, best place to live, I hear. Orlando, Florida. Oh, self-governing Orlando. Paris. Bienvenue.
How do you pronounce that one? Cambridgeshire. How do you say that in real English?
The Shire?
Cambridgeshire, England.
Northampton.
But the Shire is usually, unpronounced or sure or something like that. Cambridgeshire.
Carmel, Indiana in the house. Okay. Hi, Bernard. Where are you from? Madison. Is that a name or a place? Could be both. Atlanta, USA.
Does he need to say Ohio? Yeah, my wife always says
Shire, sure.
Ohio, as if there's another one.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
Sure.
Chicago,
Sure.
Cape
There's the
Cod,
hobbits here.
Wicked,
Well, like New Hampshire.
Givatayim.
Montclair, Vancouver, Canada. All right. Go Canucks.
Cornwall. Nice.
Central California.
Oh, we have someone from Kiev in Ukraine. Igor,
Hey,
welcome.
People.
Dobry den.
Kiev.
so cool. Well, I
Saratoga.
think our time is up, folks.
We're gonna get started in just about a minute. Welcome to everybody. We're just seeing we have people from around the world, and you could post in the chat where you're logging in from. We're so
Shaloha.
excited you're here. We're gonna get started in about a minute.
We got a
Someone from
Shaloha.
Shushan, welcome.
Yeah. Chappaqua, New York. Okay. Pasadena, Beaverton, Oregon, Alexandria, Buffalo Grove, Illinois,
Wow, we've got a lot of people.
Back Bay, Boston. Hey, Bozeman, Montana. How was Bozeman? Right next to Manhattan.
We have as much snow as we do here. I don't know. Could be.
Hello, Jane Spector Davis, Chicago, Finland.
Very cool.
Okay, we can hit 500 people soon.
Yes, Finland.
Yeah, Rick came for the Hamantaschen.
Bozeman.
This could
It's
be
like
Vodka, the way I'm looking here, right?
Prague.
Excellent. Dobry den.
Okay, I think we should start.
Я не понимаю тебя. Kabul? Yeah. Good luck with that.
All right, let's get started. Jordan, do you think we should
No,
get
I'm having
going?
more fun doing this. This is the best part. I feel like I'm traveling. I Seattle, Washington, Cleveland, Ohio, San Antonio,
Let's
Texas.
start when we get to 500 people. We're at 475, so it should be just a
You
minute or
can
two.
do it. I love the guy from Kentucky. Welcome. Special welcome.
Yes.
I got family in Bardstown, so don't knock it.
We're almost there.
Yeah. There's a Jack Daniels is having all that problem down there with the fungus, and they're in a dry county, which is sort of ironic.
Well,
Melbourne, Australia.
490, closing in on 500 people.
Oh, it's just keep those cards and letters coming in. How much are we raising? They've already registered.
We're good.
Skokie.
496.
Michelle
497.
Sandler, Westminster, welcome.
108.
sunny Pittsburgh.
499, 501. Okay, Jordan, we can start up. We have 500 people.
It's a ball
You
game.
ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Happy Shushan. Glad that you're with us for today's our third annual Jewish Gen Purim party. My name is Avram Grohl, and I'm privileged to oversee Jewish Gen. I'd like to give a tremendous thank you to my fellow Hamish henchmen, Karen Franklin, Jordan Auslander, and Randy Schoenberg, and all of the participants for all the time they have spent working on this program. A lot of work has gone into it, which is going to be funny and include a major announcement, and it's going to be really exciting. Just a couple of notes before the fun begins. This party is being recorded, so if there's anything that you missed, you can watch all the fun again. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, not the Q&A. This will allow our panelists to safely ignore them, but we will try to reply as we go along. And we're glad you're here. Without further ado, I'm going to pass over the reins to our Master of Ceremonies and our resident genealogical jester, Jordan Auslander. Welcome again.
Really? Thank you for that marvelous introduction. What do you mean this is the third? We only did two. What were we not invited? But all right. So last year, Avrami tells me that this was a fundraiser and that we actually raised no money during the fundraiser. But despite that, we've been invited back, which I don't completely understand. So we've got a pretty low bar to clear on what we're raising. So if you could just dig deep into those couch cushions and send that spare change into us, Jewish Gen would really appreciate it. All right, so we should stress, because there's some people who don't understand Purim or fun and get a little pedantic. I know in the genealogy realm, everyone has a great sense of humor, but the opinions and the things that we say here are ours. They don't reflect anything on Jewish Gen. So, relax, have fun, have a little schnapps, say, well, depending upon your time zone, a little Nash, a little Haman taschen, and let's get the show over with. Let's get on with the show. So I thought I would start at the very beginning with Dan Rottenberg, who he was a member of Jewish Gen back in 1962. He sort of basically started the whole modern Jewish genealogy movement. It was up there with Alex Hanley's Roots, and but that was in 1977. What has he done since? Besides getting published in Playboy, I hear. We're going to find out. So let's fire up the first segment. Go. Hope everyone can see that. Dan Rottenberg is one of the patriarchs of Jewish genealogy. What do you have to say for yourself?
It's one, you plant a lot of seeds in your life, right? And some of them bear fruit and some of them don't. This one bore fruit beyond my wildest dreams. So I'm very grateful and very pleased.
Well, it's an honor to have you. So I was looking at, you had written Finding Our Fathers back in, was it 1977?
Yes, that's correct.
And then that's it. You seem to have gone on. I mean, what's next for you in Jewish genealogy? So what you've discovered is the occupational hazard of being a maven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really got very much into genealogy when my book came out. I mean, I had started in the 1950s when I went to my grandmother's funeral and saw there were 4 generations of the family in the cemetery. But I always was frustrated tracing my ancestors because Jews had special problems, chased from country to country. All the records we thought were destroyed.
Well, we know all that, but now we have Jewish Gen. You can just press a button and it's all
right. What I'm saying is, at some point after finding our fathers, I kind of overdosed on genealogy. And I said to myself, I'm just gonna do some other things for a while and come back to it maybe in 20 years. And I'll bet you there'll be all kinds of technologies and all kinds of other instruments that'll make the job much easier. And of course, that's exactly what happened. You know, I did foresee, I mean, I said in Finding Our Fathers, I said, computers are going to make this much easier. I also said the Soviet Union's not going to be around forever, and there are going to be all kinds of records available. So I was a visionary in that respect. But on the other hand, I never imagined the internet, which of course made everything exponentially easier. I never imagined DNA. And who knows what else is going to come along, you know? So it's really very exciting to me. I just hope I can live long enough.
But the bottom line is that you found a way out with, instead of a 12-step program, a 12-book program, and you found a life after genealogy.
If I can tempt and seduce enough people to trace their ancestors, I know that it's addictive. I know it's like quicksand. Once you get in, you're not going to get out. All these Jewish people are going to trace their ancestors, and then we have to find some way to exchange all our information. And once they do that, I had a very selfish motive. You know, I'm going to learn more about my own family.
So you're the father of crowdsourcing.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. And I wish I knew how crowdsourcing works.
You get everyone else to do the work for you. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. But I think the point is that here I am, 45 years later, and I'm the patriarch, but everyone else is doing this esoteric research that's so far beyond my ken. I'm so far behind the technology curve, and I'm benefiting from a lot of this, but nowhere near as much as I could be.
So you haven't really used the interwebs and Jewish Gen and all that to work on your family tree and take it to the, dare I say, next generation?
Oh yes, no, I'm using those things, but probably not to the extent that I should be or could be, because after all, I have another life.
He has another life. Well, there you go. That's probably what's kept up back the publication of Finding Our Mothers. Clearly, the next step. Dan Rottenberg has done a lot of amazing interviews in his life, and I'm sure this one isn't amongst them. So now we're going to go to the one of our favorite parts of the show, the demented documents, the reckless records assembled by our own and lovely Karen Franklin. Karen, you ready to go with your PowerPoint?
Unmute, Karen.
Aaron, you're muted.
Which is kind of typical for us to have these glitches.
Sorry
There you
about that. Yes, I showed this to my son this morning, and he watched the whole thing rather mutely and said, "This is funny to genealogists, right?" So here we go. Maybe. We asked among the many categories to tell us the craziest stuff that was handed down to you. And you'll see someone sent us these dentures, and we were wondering if this was a stupid genealogist joke. Maybe they thought they could DNA from it.
Well, I don't know. It could. Were those belonging to George Washington?
No, but we can see the person who sent it in, and we want to thank everyone who sent us material. We couldn't use it all, but for those of you who don't see your entries here, feel free to post on the Jewish Gen discussion group. And those of you who didn't send it to us but still have stupid things to write, please feel free also to send it in. Jordan, you had a comment about this?
No, I just thought that naming a liquor, Hammer in the name of a liquor is sort of redundant, is it not?
I would think so. Now we asked for. Oh.
Wait. Go back though. So this was something that was handed down or passed around.
Can I go now? Okay. The craziest photos. This certainly is among them. Fabulous pajamas, and we asked Barbara Kirschenblatt Gimblet about it, and she just loved it and gave us an entire history of it. Anybody who's interested should write Jordan privately and he'll explain.
What are those pajamas or excellent camouflage if you want to hide out in a Sears and Roebuck catalog?
It could have been a Purim costume. It could have happened.
It looks like it's printed pages. That's just wacky and way ahead of its time.
You bet. I like this one. I just would hope they're not ditch diggers because I would not want to be washing them.
What does it say in the outfit? Is that the first use of the property of t-shirts?
Beats the heck out of me. As those of you who know me, Yiddish is not my native language.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sandy Levine.
Yes, thank you, Sandy, and thank you, Daniel, because here we go. She looks like she has done some exercise instruction, but perhaps not in those clothes.
Is that traditional tribal dress?
Now, I'll let you just read the label on this one. It's kind of a crazy slide, and it's not the only one we received where the woman in the photo is not the wife of the man in the photo.
Well, clearly she's the shiksa with the pig, no?
No politics in this one.
I don't know. Just looking at basically ownership. Crazy trees. Okay.
Okay, you may need to put your head in the screen to see this one. I wonder if anyone notices some unusual Jewish names in here. We thank you, Esther Brumberg, for including this to us, for us. And you'll see that this is one of the few family trees that requests armpit colors. And that is because it would be a genealogy of a cow.
Oh, okay. So it's more of a pedigree. I thought they were like into some weird offshoot of philology and trying to see what physical aspects to determine your personality. Do cows even have armpits?
I remember my family didn't speak that language.
I mean, that's sort of, not anachronistic, anthropomorphic.
Something like that. Something like that.
I mean, it's a wolf pit, maybe something like that.
These names, I had a little trouble with Isaac Goodtimes, who was killed at Chancellorsville. I missed something on that one, but okay.
The irony of the name is my guess.
I would think that to be the case. And here we have my very personal favorite, Izzy Bogus. True, this is all really came in. I could not have made this up.
I go through life with my name being a noun, but here your name is a question.
Correct. It's sort of like who's on first, something.
I don't know.
Yep.
Third base.
Now, we're not going to talk about these. We're just going to let you see them. They were submitted. Some people found them funny. My son, who didn't like anything else, found them funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. Now, Silver Dollar Sack that was submitted by Henrietta Silverman. This one I found funny. I think it would be really odd. And we have enough trouble with Franklin living on Franklin Avenue. I cannot imagine how you could tote this around.
Okay. Silver Dollar
Moving right along. This one speaks for itself.
What's 96th Street? Oh no, the Marx Brothers were Crosstown.
Very funny. And I can't imagine who sent this one. Jordan.
Well, it's someone I wouldn't want looking up my family tree. I just put it at that.
Okay. Now,
no publicly available family members, yeah, of course.
Exactly. This one is not a person, it's the name of a town that was submitted in. It's funny to me because it's Putin Thai, but in fact it's pronounced Putzen Thai, and I think that needs no further explanation.
Yet the only Jew there is nailed to a cross.
Yeah, and if you need more information about it, write to Jordan. I love this one. If you note, the mother's name is Sarah Mosquito. Okay.
So she could be, indigenous to South America.
We'll be talking about that later. But Jordan, maybe you have something to add about this one.
Oh, the cause of death. It was kind of it's tragic but in the passage of time, struck by lightning at age 11. but I'm thinking, the way my mind works is like, what did he say that he was lying to a friend and said, should I be struck dead? No.
Okay. Last slide, and a good thing it is. This was sent to us by Luke Rothman, who found this list of stuff that was to be have reparations for, and an affidavit from World War I. And sure enough, there are 300 pairs of underwear. I certainly hope that the family was in the business. Otherwise, this is a really weird record. Okay. It's all yours.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Karen. That was esoteric. Randy was speechless, and I think Rami is hiding under a pillow.
I was just
I'm
enjoying
here.
the chat. There are a lot of really good comments in the chat. It's actually very entertaining.
Okay, good, because it's like, yeah, I could say I can hear you breathing. I can't hear anything out there. So.
Did you notice how they spelled Germany in that Auslander document that you said? It was something like Jeremani.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very phonetic in those days. So before we get to everyone's favorite part of the show, celebrity genealogical death match. So I was tasked with finding out more about what Jewish Gen really does and all the components. We have, all sorts of research divisions from around the world. So I thought I was going to go around the world and find them. But since we have no budget, we Zoomed. And but I got to do some Q&As with some very interesting people. And that's what we're going to show you now. A little bit of that, if I find screen share. And I hope they're self-explanatory. And let us.
Dr. Steve Turner. Now, it says here that you're the president of Gesher Galicia. That I am. Come on. Yes. No, come on. It's not even a real country. I looked on a map. It's not there. I mean, maybe it's part of Spain or something. How can you be a president? How can I be a president? I was elected. It used to be a place. It used to be a place that had a lot of heathen. All right, you're president of a place that used to be. Okay. Right. We'll go with that. Okay. All right. So as president of this used to be place, describe your typical day. You wake up. Do you have coffee with your cabinet, or what do you do as president? Well, that would be difficult to have coffee with the cabinet because the cabinet is all over the world. So basically, I wake up, I check my emails and say, who's kvetching about what? Okay. And then I try to deal with the kvetches. And then we have around 1,500 members. So they have a few questions, and I try to deal and help them. Okay. And with the rest of the board and our volunteers. So, do you, as president of this country, do you get diplomatic immunity? No, there's very few perks. Dr. Steve Turner. Now it says here that you're the president of Gesher Galicia. Okay. Now I'm here with Nolan Altman, who, according to his resume, is director of the Holocaust database, the Jewish Online Worldwide Burial Registry, Memorial Plaques database. Is this because you can't hold a job, or would you rather commune with the dead?
Well, it's like my wife tells me, the relatives I get along with the most are the ones that are dead.
Yeah, because they never show up asking for money.
No, they're very easy to deal with.
Oh, good. I guess you can afford this as the heir to the department store chain, right?
No, that's not me.
Wasn't that the whole point of genealogy, to sort of graft yourself on and show up at rich relatives and say, hi, you forgot me for Hanukkah, no?
I've searched up and down my tree and I can't find anybody of historical significance.
Well, then what's the point of genealogy?
It's a bummer, you know?
Well, I guess so. I guess the entire audience will be disappointed. But yeah, what if you find out well in as I did that I was adopted? All that work for nothing.
Wow. Well, maybe I am part of a rich family, but my name was probably changed to Ellis Island, so this is the one I have.
Ah, got it. All right. Well, I'm sure Marion Smith will have something to say about that if we can get her. Now we're here with Dan Oren. Did I pronounce your name right?
Good enough.
Okay, because a lot of people get screwed up on Dan. I mean, it's just-
Yeah. No, actually, as a genealogist, you'll appreciate everybody tries to make me into a Daniel. And I tell them, I am not a Daniel. I had to give back my bar mitzvah certificate to the rabbi because they put Daniel on it. And I'm not a Daniel. A genealogist knows that. These kinds of
yeah. I mean, your first name is half of mine. So
good point.
all right. So I looked on a map, and because it says here that you are president of the Jewish Heritage in Poland, because there's not a lot of Jews there today, as I understand.
Well, let's get the names right. I mean, this is genealogy. We're all about getting the names right. It's president, which is just a nice title. I get paid just as much as you get paid for doing this. Nothing. It's the organization is Friends of Jewish Heritage in Poland.
Okay, well, I did speak to Stephen Turner, I'm sorry, Dr. Stephen Turner of Gesher Galicia.
Yeah.
And unlike Gesher Galicia, Poland exists. So you're president of Poland, which is nice. But here's the issue. I looked at a couple of other maps, and then Poland didn't exist. And then it showed up again, but a little further west. So it's like, yeah, I mean, how does it feel like, being the president of the sort of the whack-a-mole of research divisions?
Well, it's an honor to be working with a country that knows no borders. It basically goes with the flow, or wherever the Russians tell it to go.
Well, isn't this part of a sinister plan to eventually show up in Portugal and become Sephardic?
Don't tell anyone. This is top secret, please.
I'm sorry. Your secret is safe with me. We're here with Dan Oren. Did I pronounce your name right?
Good enough.
Well, that was interesting freeze frame.
Okay.
At least the audio came through. It's like, was what we do for game show night. People show up not for the game. It's like showing up to NASCAR to watch the crashes. So thank you for your indulgence on that. We hope we have better luck with Randy's exciting portion, which is, I thought it was more of a smackdown, but Randy, why don't you introduce what you're about to show us?
Yeah, I have to say, as a Randall and not a Randolph or a Gandalf or any of that, I appreciate Dan's comments. But yeah, I'm here to talk about our genealogy death match. For those of you who haven't seen it, last few virtual IAGGS conferences, we put on a somewhat tongue-in-cheek competitive genealogy show where genealogists go up their family tree round by round, trying to go higher and higher and prove that they have the best documented family tree. So this year we're going to be in London, and I decided to let's open this, share screen. We're going to be in London, and I decided to have a call out for tryouts for contestants for the genealogy death match in London. So hopefully everybody can see that, and we have our tryout. We're going to go review today to see if it meets our standards. Is George Santos is trying out. He's been in the news a lot, and everybody knows that he claimed to be Jewish, but now I guess he wants to prove that he really is and compete in genealogy deathmatch. So Jordan, you want to unmute and you can help me review this application. It's a tryout.
I will help you there. I just have to queue up the next video. Give me a second here.
Okay, well, you don't have to queue up the video until we go through this. Let's look first at his birth certificate.
I'm back.
Yeah, his first slide is a New York birth certificate. It says he was born in New York, and it says, my New York birth certificate states I was born July 22nd, 1988 to Gersino dos Santos, and my mother's maiden name was de Volder.
That looks like a certificate that I used to get into bars when I was underage.
Yeah, but it has that seal on it. It could be
Oh,
real.
okay.
You know. And there's even a barcode. So maybe
Well,
that's
yes, for getting into bars. That's the whole point.
bars. I see. I get it. Whoops. Went back. Okay, so let's see what his mother. This is
I think I'm related because I look just like her.
you're like, yeah, definitely. I can see the resemblance, and so that maybe is one indication that he's telling the truth. My mother, Fatima de Volder, died December 23rd, 2016, and here's her obituary. Says she was born December 22nd, 1962 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to Paul and Rosalina de Volder. And sure enough, that's what the obituary notice says.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That can't be real. The tiara's upside down.
I think it's real, although I did notice a mistake in this. It says she was 64 years old, but if I'm doing the math right, 1962 to 2016, that looks like 54 years old. So
No, Randy, that makes perfect sense. Like mother, like son. Using the birth certificate to get into bars. She's just, claiming she was older so she could get her Social Security benefits.
that's right.
Half fare in Jersey Transit.
Anyway, she died young, so we shouldn't make fun of that. But anyway, that's his mother, and he said that his maternal grandfather is the one who was Jewish, his mother's parents. So let's follow that up. He said, here it is. That's interesting. It says, my mother's application for immigrant visa states that her full name was Fatima Alzira Caruso Horta de Volder. She was born December 22nd, 1962 in Rio. That matches the obituary, so that's good. Her father was Paulo Horta de Volder, and her mother was Rosalina Caruso. Her father, Paulo de Volder, died in 1968. And we can see there's a mistake. He's noting that Rosalina's family name of birth was not Horta de Volder, but Caruso. Mistakes happen. De Volder was her married name. Well, that's true. You've seen that before, Jordan, haven't you? Where sometimes a form has a mistake, especially immigration forms are filled with mistakes like that. So that sounds reasonable.
No, it sounds very reasonable. A friend of mine had his middle name of John turned into Jahon on his green card, and the folks from the INS insisted that they had his name right and he had his own name wrong.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, so far so good. He's got good documentation. Let's see the next generation. Here's a picture. He says, this is the family of my grandfather, Paul de Volder. He's the little boy on the top row. Sort of looks like George a little bit. He was born in 1916. And he says, as I've stated before, he was a survivor of the Holocaust and moved to Brazil. Okay.
Wait, John, Paul, George, where's Ringo?
Well, let's see the evidence. Let's see what he has here. So
okay.
Here's Paul's immigration card from 1948. His parents were Seraphine de Volder and Maria Powell from Brussels, Belgium, and below is his grave. It's got a nice Jewish star on it. And yeah, there's a nice picture. It looks vaguely familiar. The picture of his, you've used those before, haven't you? Those Brazilian immigration cards. They're really useful.
Oh yeah, they got the picture and everything.
They always have great pictures and information on the parents. It's an amazing thing that I don't know who made that available, but it's a terrific database. Not on JewishGen, I think, but on Ancestry or Family Search or one of those. But
I want to get one of those cat filters for mine.
Okay. Well, let's see how we go. So he said he found his father Paul in a Spanish prisoner list on JewishGen. There it says Paul de Volder. It says the name is spelled de Volder instead of de Volder, but everyone knows that spelling doesn't matter. Well, that's sort of true, right? In Jewish genealogy, sometimes things get spelled different ways, and it doesn't matter too much. So de Volder, de Volder.
Yeah, I mean you're dealing with 3 levels of transliteration, from the Ladino to the gibberish to the English.
This says he's French, and on the immigration card it said he was from Belgium, but he says that's close to Belgium. That's true. They sort of speak the same language. And then he says the spelling must have been changed by the clerks at Ellis Island on the way to Brazil. Well, that makes sense. Maybe.
Well,
I've heard that before. I've heard about that before, that spelling is changed at Ellis Island, but is it on the way to Brazil? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, this is in the Jewish Gen database. So thank you,
Maybe he had a
Thomas.
layover at Ellis Island. You never know.
Okay, so let's see what his next slide says. Okay, so he says I did a DNA test and it showed I was 1% Jewish. Isn't that enough? Anyway, that's only because they don't have Sephardic DNA in their database. And of course, Paul must have been Sephardic because he was totally Jewish. I know because my mom told me he liked to eat bagel chips and salsa, which is very Sephardic, right? So bagels and salsa. So he's making a claim here based on DNA evidence. 1% Jewish, normally that would not be a real indication of Jewish background, but if he is Sephardic, could be. What do you
Well,
think, Jordan?
I'm surprised, or rather relieved, that he didn't, refer to the Nuremberg laws.
Randy,
Yeah.
I'm a little confused with these percentages here.
Yeah.
Correct me if they add up.
Yeah, he's missing part of his lineage, I guess, in this ancestry thing, but that happens.
Yeah, but
It's
no one really
always updating
understands.
the databases and could be true. Well, so it makes us a little suspicious, but we'll just have to see what the next
Wait,
slide
wait.
says.
Randy, is he suggesting that his Jewishness is a rounding error?
Well, yeah, I've heard people say, oh, 1%, that really doesn't matter. Everybody's got 1%. But he's making the claim it's because they were Sephardic and not Ashkenaz.
No, but wasn't one of his campaigns that he was in the 1%?
I don't know, is he in the 1%, the 10%,
I don't know. He worked for Goldman Sachs and made a fortune.
I heard he gave 110% always.
Okay,
Oh.
moving on.
Moving on, here's a photo of his parents, Seraphine de Volder, that's Paul's parents, Seraphine de Volder and Marie Powell. Seraphine, whoops, spelled wrong there, was a famous physicist. Looks familiar. I don't know, that face looks familiar. And his wife Marie came from Vienna. Okay, ooh, Vienna, that's my neck of the woods. Let's see what he has next. And he found the birth record for Marie Powell. You can see that Marie was born March 4th, 1890 in Vienna to Theodor Powell and Juliana Nassauer. And
Oh, we
here's
just missed the birthday.
he has a photo of Marie's father. That's amazing. Again, looking really familiar, but I can't place it. But anyway, that's
Very
the
dashing.
Powell family. I've never heard of the Powell family in Vienna, but who knows?
The people who live in the chat, they know who it is.
They know who it is. Okay, so here we have a photo of the mother now, Juliana Nassauer. There's her birth record that you can find on Jewish Gen. She was born in Budapest in 1868 to Jacob Nassauer and Yanka Kolinski, and there's a picture of her. Oh wow, she's looking very stately there.
Now I know we're related because she looks a little bit like me when I got older.
It's great that he found all these photographs.
And then he's even going back further. Well, that's what Genealogy Death Match is all about, is going as far as you can with as much documentation as you can. Jacob Nassauer is originally from Nagy in Hungary. Here's his birth and death records on Jewish Gen. And it looks like his father's name is Moritz. These are records you can find on Jewish Gen in the Hungary database. And then he says, I figured out Jacob's father, Moritz Nassau. Moritz is a German name for men named Moses. That's true, Karen, right? You're an expert on that. A lot of people named Moses changed their name to Moritz. And Nassauer must be a surname Moses adopted when Jews took surnames after Napoleon conquered Germany. So he must have been Moses from Nassau in Germany, a court Jew who worked for the Duke of Nassau. And here's an engraving he found from Moses.
Well, there are lots of Jews who live in Nassau County.
It also looks really, really familiar, but I don't know. We're almost done. So he says, I found a tree on Genie that shows me that Moses of Nassau was the son of the Vilna Gaon. Wow. Must be true because he found it online. Yeah, isn't that always the case? If you find a tree online, it's got to be correct. So he says, see, I descend from the Vilna Gaon. You can't get much more Jewish than that. I agree. And then he said he read online, and again, must be true, that he descended from the Maharala Prague, Maimonides, Rashi, King David, and even Queen Esther, the famous Jewish woman we celebrate on Purim. Hint, 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 for those of you taking this seriously. And that's it. So Jordan, what do you think? Is he going to be a contestant? We're gonna have to see if we find someone with maybe a little more evidence in their trees, but maybe he'll be contesting.
I don't know. This seems like the tree to beat. I mean, all the way back to Queen Esther. That's impressive.
Yeah, not everybody can trace back to Queen Esther, but George Santos clearly can. So thank you very much, George Santos. And thank
Yeah,
you,
and if
Jordan,
he
for
goes back
allowing-
to the house of David, he could be the next Messiah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, I'm going to stop share, and you can go on with your program.
Well, no, that was marvelous and a great preview of what we can expect in London.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we have a really good show in London. They haven't announced who got in and who gets to present, but I'm hoping we're there and presenting the Jewish Genealogy Death Match. Maybe not with George Santos, but you have to log in or show up to find out. Thanks, Jordan.
Oh, well, thank you again, Randy. And now let's go back to a couple of more of those interviews and find out what really goes on with Jewish Gen.
Phil Goldfarb.
Sorry, that's
You
Phil.
are Phil Goldfarb. The Jewish Gen discussion group, which is kind of ironic because we were having trouble getting this Zoom call to work.
Right, right.
It also says that you are responsible for the Jewish Gen News Nosh. Well, discussion, everyone has a discussion. Everyone knows when you have, 5 Jews in the room, you have 8 different opinions. Do you find that in the discussion group?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, it depends. Some of the discussions are good. Some are not so good. Some people just can't understand how to take direction. Some people just can't understand guidelines. And that's what the moderators do. All we do is we make certain that the discussion group follows the guidelines, period. That's it.
I'm sorry,
So
you lost me there.
Well, if someone doesn't, let me put it a different way to you, Jordan.
No. I just wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't follow these things. It gets too technical. I'm going to ask you about something that I think everyone will want to know about, and that is the news nosh. Now, is there a diet version?
There is not a diet version. However, you can have it with a schmear and a bagel. You can have it with hamakashin while you're reading it. So it's not milkadix, not fleshadix. So
all right, that was my next question. Is the news nosh parv?
Yeah. Well, again, you can read the news nosh while eating anything. That's what's so great about it.
So why don't you call it a digest?
Came up.
We're here with Dan Oren. Did I print?
How do we? All right, how did we get Dan Oren there? All right, that was not supposed to be Dan Oren. That was supposed to be Lara Diamond.
Now we're with
Lara
Diamond.
I gotta
now
cue that up. Bearing with.
This is so typical.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not on the screen share.
Go for it, Jordan. Poor Jordan.
I knew what I meant.
Without Ron Aaron screwing up, he has to screw up all himself.
Why do you think I need Ron Aarons here? Now everyone sees how incompetent I am. All right.
Now we're with Lara Diamond, who is head of the Subcarpathia Research Division, which is a bit confusing to me. Why do we have a whole research division for the submarine that saved the Titanic survivors?
Yeah, so Subcarpathia unfortunately has no Titanic tie as far as I know, but
it's a ship that rescued. Everyone knows that. I saw the movie.
It did, and I do think Leonardo DiCaprio may have some Subcarpathian ancestry, so I see the connection.
Okay.
But Subcarpathia is a region that pretty much every couple of years switched to a different country because of various wars and things like that, and so it's kind of different than all of the areas around it. And so we have one research division that concentrates just on records from Subcarpathia.
Well, where is it on a map?
It's currently in southwestern Ukraine, bordering Romania, Slovakia, Hungary, over, kind of in that general area. not Hungary, but
So
was
this isn't one of those real places like, Poland where I could research.
it's a real place. It's modern day Zakarpattia Oblast in Ukraine. It was part of Austria-Hungary up until World War I, when it became part of a new country called Czechoslovakia. And then a couple of years before World War II, it became Subcarpathian Rus for a couple of months. Then it became part of Hungary again. Then the Germans came in. Then it became part of the Soviet Union, and now it's Ukraine.
This sounds like the same logic that the Six Flags amusement park uses.
Essentially, yes. So, yeah, you can base records are found in tons of different languages and tons of different repositories because of all these border changes. So it makes research a little more challenging.
This makes perfect sense because Jews have been thrown out of the best countries, in Europe, and here all they had to do is stay in place, and they could have been thrown out of 6 different countries.
That's one way to think about it.
Without even moving.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can have siblings who were born in the same house in the same village who were born in several different countries.
Wow. So you could have a civil war right in your own home.
That's one way to think about it.
Well, that sounds like a typical Jewish family, actually. So, well, what do you do? I mean, you're president of this non-existent space as well. Is that correct?
So I am the director of the research division. We started off a couple of years ago by acquiring vital records from this area, both synagogue records, which were kept up until 1895, and civil records starting in the fall of 1895 through World War II. And we've indexed over 100,000 records and got them up and searchable in JewishGen. We've started a project to start indexing the 1921 Czechoslovakian census for the area that covers Subcarpathia. And so, we are having a lot of records being indexed and going online and being made searchable for people through JewishGen.
Well, that's all well and good, but how does this affect your social life?
What is that?
I mean, you're doing all this sort of stuff. I mean, you seem like a nice Jewish girl. You're not married. I mean, what are your parents thinking? What are you doing here?
Let's not go there.
I thought so. All right. So the takeaway from Subcarpathia is let's not go there. Well, thank you so much, Lara.
I would actually say, Jordan, when the war is over, you should go there. I've been there and it is beautiful. It is full of mountains and little villages, and it is a beautiful part of the world. So do go there, hopefully very soon.
Okay. And from what I understand, it's still wine country.
There's wine country, mushrooms, a lot of mushrooms, and people go foraging and then sell them in the cities. So
sell them in the city, and it's legal there.
Correct.
Sounds like a fun place. Now? Oh, did that work? Okay. Well, that multi-million dollars we spent on the editing and the audiovisual. I think it may be time for that big announcement that we've apparently been teasing people with. And on cue, there
are 500 people left online, and I think 498 of them have said we're here only because of the Ukraine announcement. So yes, go right ahead.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Phyllis, you've got some big news for us about a country that still technically exists.
It still absolutely exists, and it's made up of a number of gubernias, but what we're working on, or have been working on since the beginning of JewishGen, is the 9 gubernias on the map behind me, which is also on the Ukraine website, which, by the way, is under construction. We're redoing it completely. So that's a partial announcement. That's the subtext. But the big news is that every month since last September, we have uploaded 100,000 new records on JewishGen. And even bigger news, this month, the month of March, we're uploading 150,000. And that way we will reach a million records by next July, before the IAJGS conference.
Yeah.
Very excited about this. And I have to get to work on my 150,000 for this month. So
Well, at least you know what your weekend plans are.
are you kidding? Okay, so the 150,000 will be added by the 15th of March. So on the Ides of March, you can start researching again, and then come back every month, because there's going to be something new every month.
Phyllis, from all of the chat, you can see how grateful people are for your hard work.
I
Really,
can't see, I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Thank you very much.
the real place too. It's impressive.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, it's funny that you mentioned Gubernia, because I actually have family from there, and because it's
one.
no, I actually reached out to a colleague of mine, Alex Dunai, to see how I could find them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Alex, great.
So you're Alex Dunai, and world famous genealogist, and it says you're in Lviv, Ukraine.
Yes.
What happened to Lemberg, Austria, and Lvov, Poland? Are those near you?
Pretty close, pretty close. They're actually all the same place.
Oh, okay, all right. So, so you're a professional genealogist based in Ukraine, correct?
Yes,
All right.
correct.
I realize this is sort of a personal question, but I was wondering, my grandmother named Bubby, she came from a town called Gubernia. Could you help me find her?
Definitely, if you give me the name of Gubernia.
No, she said she was from Gubernia.
Of course. This is very common. Many people, actually, almost all Jews, not almost, but all Jews who come from Russia, they come from Gubernia, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. That makes.
But
does that make
yeah.
your job more difficult or easier?
It makes well, Gubernia is just means province or region. Okay,
She's from
so
Minsk.
it's just to say if she can be from Minsk, from Pinsk, from Kiev, from Odessa, and any other place. Because Gubernia is just like to say I'm from the United States. I'm from the state.
Wow, she
Which
really
is-
got around. You're saying my booby got around? I didn't. You know, I heard she never left a day's wagon ride from where she was born until she crossed an ocean. But now this is a whole eye opener. So,
Okay.
all right. Well, and her husband was Zadie.
Definitely.
Is that a popular name?
Definitely. Because Zadie is grandpa, so grandmother's husband was definitely grandfather.
Well, yeah, we know
So-
my grandfather, but his name was Zadie.
Well, that's what the Zadie means.
I've been living a lie.
Well, it's not really a lie. It's true, but it's not a personal name.
Well, now I got to start all over again on my entire genealogy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, you have done so much by now, and you
Well-
have to start all over.
Wait, is this how you drum up business? Are you making up stuff? I mean, because there's no one really going to go over to Ukraine right now and check it.
Well, unfortunately, I never lie. Believe it or not, if you ever met people in your life, at least who in their profession who don't make up things, when I'm the one. I am one of those who don't make up things.
Okay. So if you were lying to me, you tell me.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, thank you. Yes, we know that if we want to hear lies, we turn on the Russian channel, the official state channels. So that was fascinating for me and a real eye opener. That now I have to just start on my genealogy all over again. But on the Polish side, I thought I would talk to Jewish Gen's Polish expert, Stan Diamond.
Wait, he's not Jewish Gens. Separate.
Stan Diamond, you're the head of Jewish Gen's Polish research division, right?
No. JRI Poland is an independent organization. We're not part of Jewish Gen. We started out by...
Wait, come on. Every time I do a search on Jewish Gen, results come with JRI Poland. That's the Jewish Research Division of Poland, right?
No. We allow Jewish Gen to display our data as a service to the Jewish genealogical community. But that data comes from JRI Poland, not from Jewish Gen. We are totally separate, totally independent.
Then is this the free market and how, competition, benefits everyone?
No, not really. What we're trying to do is make sure that as many people around the world as possible get to know that JRI Poland has this amazing, almost 6.5 million records that we're making available on the internet.
Wait. You have that? What about there's the Gesher Galicia or the Friends of? There's so many organizations. What makes yours special?
Well, I guess you could say ours special because number one, we were number one. We started in 1995, indexing the records in the Mormon microfilms, making this available to people around the world.
Well, wait. I mean, is there like a rivalry going on? Litbox versus Galicia. How do you guys?
Everybody has their own territory, if you will. Everybody.
There are no turf wars? Come on. I mean, we're talking about Jews, 5 Jews, 8 opinions.
Yeah, you know what? There's always going to be differences of opinion, but when there's goodwill, there's cooperation. So we cooperate with Litvak Sig and we cooperate with Gesher Galicia. There are times where we overlap in certain...
Wait, Stan, are you sure you guys are all Jewish?
That was very good.
I'm still as confused as when I started.
Thank you, Stanley.
Very nice.
If he's watching, these are all recorded segments, is because you can tell I'm wearing different shirts.
Yes.
So I thought in closing, unless anyone else has something brilliant to add, I know I don't, I would leave the last words to Dan Rottenberg, who is, the be all, the beginning, the end, the alpha and the omega. Is there an omega for Jewish genealogy? No. All right. Well, do we have anyone left? I mean, there's still.
I think that's it. But I said I could show a trailer afterwards. So.
Well, no. If we want to get rid of the entire crowd, we just ask them for money. So in the meantime.
Let's see Dan again.
Let me put it this way. When I started, there were maybe 6 people interested in Jewish genealogy in the world. And you would go into some Jewish archive or institution, and they were only for scholars. They didn't want amateurs like me coming in and messing up their orderly system. And of course, nowadays, it's you have thousands of amateurs looking up their ancestors, and it's a wonderful thing in one respect. And the other respect is if you're an amateur, you don't really know who's reliable and who isn't. And I think
the lie posted becomes the truth by being retweeted. Yeah.
Well, the internet's a wonderful way to disseminate information. It's also a wonderful way to disseminate misinformation.
And in the spirit of that, watch this show over and over again.
Well, I'd like to take the role of thanking all of my compatriots, partners in crime, especially Jordan, because you really put everything together, and we thank you.
I was 6'1" when I started this.
Should I show my, for the people?
Please.
who are
Oh
left?
yeah, no, absolutely. If what is a program without a plug?
Yeah, so in the spirit of not Purim at all, but those of you may know, I put together a documentary film that's really a genealogy film last year, and it's now applying to a bunch of festivals, and hopefully it'll be screened, and maybe we'll do a Jewish Gen event eventually on it. But you can watch the trailer if I can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, well, it's not as easy as it looks, I found out.
Good luck to us, right? And let's see if I can find it. Cannot find it. 1 second. When I share screen.
Still have over 400 people here. It's just like, and it's happy hour somewhere.
Okay, here it goes.
I would hardly believe that you were really the descendant of my hero. I'm just blown away.
I'm about to leave for Vienna, and then Joey's going to come meet me. We're going on a little bit of a roots trip, looking at cemeteries and archives and documents, and we'll see how far back we get. So I get to show you all these neat things. You're weird. I'm weird. I know. There are just two types of people: the people who know they're crazy and the people who have no idea that they're crazy. I at least know I'm crazy.
You will see things you would never expect to see.
I always have been interested in memory. That was my dream as a little kid. It's in the soil, it's in the air.
It is poetry. It is mystery. You must do it the rest of your life.
Closed. Now what? We're going on a treasure hunt.
30 years ago, my neighbors told me, you have an American cousin here.
Families were separated after World War II, and they really had no contact at all.
The major point I think what Randy always does all his life is bringing people together.
We're tracing our family history back 500 years.
It's nice to know where I came from. Not a lot of people can say that.
We're essentially missing so many generations because of these atrocities that happened in Europe.
So many people came without family, without maybe memories.
I'm the only person in 200 years who wants to look at this, right? He died 400 years ago, and here we are in front of one of his books.
To believe that something this old was owned and created by someone that I share blood with.
I had this dream that I would start painting some pictures of the characters you're like telling me about. It becomes real, you know.
I think for me, at least, tracing my family history gives me an entree into the history of the world.
It was like magic. From Venice, they go to Prague, to Vienna, to Los Angeles.
I think I was maybe more surprised at how enjoyable it was for me retracing some of the steps with my son. Looks a little expensive.
We'll take it.
It's that time of life when you start thinking about, okay, who am I going to be and what am I going to do and how am I going to do it?
I will always remember it. You could wear that to the Met Gala.
Yeah, like, I don't think I want to wear it. I don't want to end up like Shlomo Melcho. He was burned at the stake, after all.
Okay, so preview of coming attractions. Hopefully we'll have a Jewish Gen event.
I'm just thinking Dan Rottenberg got out. You're just leaning in.
Whoops. Oh my God. Can we stop that?
If I could just add, anyone who wants to do this next year, please let us know.
Yeah, with more than 10 days notice, please.
I'd like to thank you, Jordan and Karen and Randy. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Phyllis, for your exciting announcements. Thank you to everybody from around the world who joined us today. It's nice sometimes to be able to laugh. It's a lot of seriousness when you do genealogy, and someone sent me an email last night that a lot of genealogists do their best work at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's a very serious pursuit. People spend a lot of time doing this, and it's nice to be able to enjoy ourselves And so thank you very much. Thanks for everyone joining. Our next webinar will be in a couple of weeks, and then we'll go back to our regular schedule of weekly webinars, our Jewish Gen Talks, taking a break for Passover, but then going through June. So please watch your emails, watch the discussion group. We will be sending out all the announcements. And I wish everybody a wonderful Shushan Purim, a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you again. Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Don't believe a word we said.
Yeah, definitely not. Except the trailer, the movie.
Don't research this online. Don't try this at home.
Just believe that I look like Gal Gadot, and that's it. That's all.
Yeah, but the tiara was upside down. That couldn't have been real.
Anyway, we have not.